Perhaps we ought to recognise that the West now faces the biggest threat and crisis to our way of life that we have seen for over 70 years. Anyone else? Did anyone take a guess as to who said that? It would be Nigel Farage, and he said it in the European Parliament in September of 2014, and that's worth remembering because we're obviously going to analyse his stance on Ukraine 11 years hence after that.
I agree with him.
Well, I mean, let's be honest, that conceivably is a speech you would have expected to hear at any trade union annual general meeting over the Ukraine crisis. At least until the bureaucrats in the trade union movement got involved and decided to go full behind the NATO war in Ukraine. But the Tories were put on the back foot by UKIP's rise. And the Tories have always had a very uneasy alliance. There's always been an uneasy alliance between its Eurosceptic and Europhile halves. And it could be argued that it's only by dint of the electoral system that these two halves stay together. Because essentially they are servants of the ruling class and they're prepared to put some differences aside in order to serve those interests. But if, for instance, we had a change of voting system, it's conceivable, much like the Labour Party, that it would split into two. So during this period, around about the 2014 mark, a chap called Douglas Carswell, who was a Tory MP in Clacton-on-Sea, which ironically is now Nigel Farage's seat, he defected to UKIP from the Conservatives. And then in the 2015 general election, 3.8 million people voted for UKIP, but they didn't get any seats. Farage, running for MP in South Thanet in Kent, said that he'd resign if he didn't win the seat, and he didn't. So he tendered his resignation, and then 3 days later the NEC said, no, you're not resigning, I'm afraid you're still in charge. And the Tories were then dragged by forces within their own party and under the threat of these mass defections to UKIP to call a referendum on Britain's membership of the European Union. And in 2016, of course, we got Brexit. So UKIP's reason to exist had largely been negated. Brexit had been voted for, wasn't delivered, but it was voted for. And so the party started to fall apart and people went in all kinds of different directions. So Nigel Farage resigned as leader. Mr Carswell resigned from the party and stood as an independent. And in 2017, UKIP lost all 145 council seats it was defending. So, as the ruling class bumbled their way through trying to deliver Brexit, a new party came along to try and push them towards the appropriate door. And that was originally the Brexit Party, which was formed in 2018 by a chap called Richard Tice and Nigel Farage. It's actually a private company, the Brexit Party, now reformed. And they had policies including pushing for a hard Brexit, pushing the government into actually carrying out a Brexit and not a Brexit in name only. And they were instrumental in their own way in forcing the government to actually come up with something that resembled a Brexit deal. Not quite the deal we would have liked to have seen, but one all the same. But where did Reform go after that? Well, of course, they were instrumental in the 2024 general election. They helped destroy the Tories because although they didn't win many seats, they only actually totaled 5. They came second in so many constituencies that they totally broke the Tory vote, which meant that Labour, with a majority, it has to be said, is a mile wide but an inch deep, became the party of government.